All right, we're gonna get down and dirty today. We are removing a transmission out of a Dodge 1500 four-wheel drive edition, and this one has quite a lift on it, 6-inch lift. So let's jimmy through this. What I did was disconnect the battery. I just did both positive and negative, just because you're gonna want to take your front drive shaft out. That goes to your transfer case and connects to your front axle or front differential, if you will. Then, right now, we're working on the gear selector, kick down, whatever you want to call it. Remove these right here. Then we should be able to remove it from right here. We'll have to figure that out. And then, after that, I'll start working on these connections. There's a couple down here. So do that. So after removing your gear selector, all your cables, all the connections, there's one that goes to no 2 sensor, this one. And also unties with the harness because you want the harness to just basically hang if we're able to. So basically we're clearing up all the wiring right now. You want to disconnect the vent hose from right there. I'm not sure where the other end of it goes right now, but my guess would be to do it from there because the end of it goes clear on top of the tranny. So disconnect the vent hose from the bottom, from right there. And now we're working on this shield here. We're gonna start removing the connections on this side. So take the shield off. So after you're removing every single connector on both sides, including both O2 sensors upstream and downstream on both exhaust pipes. Right now I'm working on the tranny cooler lines. After removing the tranny cooler lines, working on the starter now. Remember, the very first thing we did was disconnect the battery terminal, so that would be fine. You don't want to take this bracket off. It'll help you get to the bolts because there's 2 of them and you can't really get to it. So now we're doing the starter. You don't have to necessarily do it in this order, but generally speaking, just guideline video, I guess. Alright, so after removing that cumbersome bracket there in the starter, I removed the rear drive line because I'm getting ready to drop the transfer case. I'm almost at this point. After taking the rear drive line out, we can work on the motor part, so the connectors and all that. So after removing the transfer case, we should be following these general guidelines, and you'll now have basically a tranny. All that's left. As far as I could tell, there is a couple more things on top you might have to look at. Let's see if I can see if there's a bracket right there. Just kind of look at that. I know that it's associated with, that bracket's associated with a bell housing bolt. As in, if that was the last bolt, let's say, in order to take that bracket off, you would have to take that bolt off. So, work on right now. We should remove the flywheel bolts. We should have done that kind of a long time ago, but you can still do it now before it's too late. So go ahead and remove your flywheel bolts now, if you haven't. What I want to do is remove all the housing bolts. I'll use a tranny as a reference. Leave like the side one very last, the ones closest up here. But yeah, it's kind of straightforward. Once you get all the bolts off, There's two on top. There's not one directly in the middle, but on the side tops. Then you just have to wiggle it off of the tabs, guide pins. It was kind of stuck on these. So just a little work, be patient with it, be very careful. It's a very big, heavy tranny. So I mean, if I can do it, you can too. So yeah, we'll start to do the install. You will need some special shop tools, like I'm gonna use a cherry picker to pick this thing up probably and move it. Or if you have a group of married men to help you, but that's pretty tall. A better tranny jack would have solved my issue, but this is what we have, so yeah. So other than that though, that's it. Before it goes all the way up, but when it's up there enough to reach the connectors for the CO2, for the what do they call those? Sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. Your O2 sensors. Remember the ones on the very top? You might want to get those. Basically put everything on there. You're gonna want to service the tranny with a new filter. Make sure you get every single connection, the ones on top. Make sure you got all your bell housing bolts in, most of them. So at this point, as you can see, I'm using jack stands and stuff. So as long as everything is connected now, I haven't connected the gear selector yet, but we'll leave that for last. But yeah, so after you put the transmission in, basically, you want to go ahead and put on your transfer case. And from there, it's just all the brackets and stuff. Make sure to put them all back how they were. You don't have to do it in this order, but I would at least put the transfer case on and the brackets. But once all that's said and done, you can go ahead and put your starter on there. And then yeah, don't forget no wires. Don't forget the brackets, like the bracket that covers the starter. Don't forget the little shield. And that's about it. And don't forget to fill up all your fluids. And that's basically it.